Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 805, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.
All right, good evening and welcome back to Leadership Live at 805, Talking Small Business. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and excited to be back once again, talking small business. Hopefully everything's going well so far for you, and really excited about 2024. As you know, my goal is to help you make 2025 your best year ever. That's my goal as well. So we're going to focus on helping you sell more, maximize profit, and finance growth for your business. As you know, there's so many things that you need to know as a business owner that it's hard to know them all. And your business can only go as far as you're prepared to take it. And that's one of the key reasons that we do Leadership Live at 805. For over 4 years, we've been every Tuesday night really having a guest expert to share expertise and experience and knowledge about their journey and about things that can help you be more successful as a business owner. Tonight, I'm excited about the topic. We're really going to be talking about scaling your business in 2025. My guest tonight, that's really what we've been focused on, really helping him to be able to do that and guiding him in the process. So I'm excited about him being able to share, his journey, where he is, what he's doing, what he's done, and what he's planning to do for this year to make 2025 his best year ever. So definitely going to be a great show. Hopefully you'll pick up some great things. As always, we invite you to provide comments, questions, share, and let's have a great show. Let me invite our guest on real quick. Hey, Clevonne, welcome.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, I'm glad to have you here. You're doing some good things, and I'm glad we're able to talk about them.
Likewise.
Yeah. And as a business owner, it's a journey. Everybody's journey is different, but the key to the journey is, there's still 5 key steps that every business owner needs to take their business from startup to scaling. I outline those in the Masterpreneur Playbook. And, the 5 steps are working on the concept of your business, working in your business, working on your business, working on the future of your business, and scaling your business. But not only the 5 steps, it's very important to make sure that you not only focus on the 5 steps, but there are also key, 5 levels of evolution that you need to take as a business owner to be able to move your business through those stages successfully. Starting out as an entrepreneur, being creative, working in your business to develop your business, find the market product fit so that you can sell and grow, From there, you need to pivot to really management and focusing on optimizing your business. Moving on to the executive role, where you're really coaching your managers and focused on growth and strategic planning for the future. And then finally, as a full-fledged CEO, focused on scaling your business. So those are the 5 steps. Clevonne is really in the middle between stage 3 and stage 4, working on his business and working on the future of his business. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But before we get started, Clevonne, can you introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your journey so people know a little bit about you?
Sure, absolutely. Like I said, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Andrew, for so much for allowing me to be a part of this broadcast. My journey started a number of years ago. At this point, um, just like any child of the grew up in the 80s, 90s, you were told go to college, get a degree, and figure it out. So at a young age, I fell in love with engineering and technology, and I went on and studied computer engineering, and then found myself in a telecommunications career and worked with a number of as an engineer with a number of Fortune 500 companies, and on the wireless telecommunications side. In the midst of doing that, I think early on in my career, I realized that my desire to be independent was always there, right? So in the midst of in my career, I would always find myself in different businesses, whether it's flipping houses or being a landlord, or once a couple of years ago, my wife and I started uh, a camper van rental business that we ran for a couple of years until my son was born, and we had to choose between the business or my son, and we chose the son, thankfully. So I found myself doing that, and then it was always that knack in my heart or my spirit to be independent and run my own company. So that is something that's always been there. So let's backtrack a little bit. A, a number of years ago, while I was still in college, around 2005, my father and my mother, who started the business. My father was working as any immigrant uh, immigrant to this country. You find yourself in a job just to make ends meet. So he's working in a parking garage countless hours. And I remember as a kid, they would be gone from 6 a.m. and come home at 7 p.m. On a regular basis. And one day he found himself after working another overtime shift on at the parking garage. He found himself with high heart rate, and started to his heart started to palpitate, and he started to feel dizziness, and he started to feel ill. So from the next couple of days, he found himself in the hospital. And the first thing the doctors asked him was like, are you overworked are you stressed at work? And from that moment, he realized that he's dedicating his whole life to a job that's not really fulfilling to him, and actually, hurting him. So from that day, he made a decision with my mom that that will be the last time he'll find himself in a hospital bed because of work. So from there, he next year, and so backtrack a little bit. In his home country of Trinidad, he was a police officer, and obviously that skill set doesn't necessarily translate as well to America. But the one thing that he knew that he loved and he always can fall back on was his desire to clean and to clean and to keep facilities tidy. So that's the first thing that came to his mind. Like, hey, I can start a cleaning company, and that can help our family be in a better position. So the very next year, he started this company, started Brilliant Image Cleaning. So from there, I watched him build this company from scratch, from the ground up. Him and my mom. I would come home from college breaks, and I would be up traveling to as far south New Jersey. We'll be in Camden to North Jersey, doing these random jobs. And as he's trying to figure out how to do the business and run the business. And then from there, we saw him add employees, add staffing, and eventually grow the business to where it became a profitable business that he can enjoy the fruits of his labor, and as well as live a lot more comfortably than he did. So watching that as a kid was impactful to me, and seeing that, as it wasn't, um, at the time, seeing that him build this whole business from scratch, I knew that, if hey, I can do something with this as well. So fast forward to me getting involved with the business now. It As the whole world, we went through a change in 2020, right? In 2019, 2020 with the pandemic. In the midst of the pandemic, I was working remote from home, and I got a promotion on my job, and that I worked for, that I interviewed for, and I was super happy that I got this job. I landed the job, and maybe 3 months into the job, I wasn't satisfied. I'm like, you know what? Um, this is not what I intended. Was not what I intended for myself. I was making more money. The job wasn't a stressful job. It probably was the least stressful job I ever had in my life, and it was not demanding, but it was unfulfilling. So in the midst of that, so then I also, so I'm like, man, there's something else that I should be doing. Um, there was slowing down. I saw his desire to slow the business down. He wasn't as diligent as he once was. I think at this point he was about 67. And he's like, I don't really feel like doing this. And so from my point of view, I saw he's still printing invoices and sticking stamps on them and running out to the post office every week, every other week to do that. And then he's doing things very old fashioned. I'm like, but with my brain, I'm like, I can take what he's done by himself, add a little bit of automation, and what else can it become? It can be even more profitable and even be in a better position. Um, so after talking with my wife, talking with my parents, that was the decision. I said, hey, you know what? I would work this on a part-time basis. So from there, I work the business on a after work hours, on weekends. I would try to instill some systems and automations and processes into the business, to help it grow. Um, all while, not making any money off of it. That probably was the most enjoyment that I found. So even at work, I would almost rush home so I can, figure out how to clean a toilet better, right? It's not very fancy, but for some reason that really interests me, and it brought fulfillment to me. Uh, so from there, I kept doing that for a number of years. Up until last year, I was given an opportunity at my place of employment to separate from the company, voluntarily. So basically, a voluntary separation. Um, and I thought about it. I talked to mentors. I think I even talked to Andrew about it multiple times. And going through the process, talked to my pastor, talked to my parents, and really, we came to the decision that I will take the opportunity. Now, that was a shock to a lot of my colleagues, and people that I worked with, because it's not meant for somebody in the middle of their career to jump ship. But I felt at the time it was a thing for me to do, because I see the potential in the business. I see the potential in myself. I see the potential in my staff, in my team, to take this business to a different place, and eventually, uh, to even be more fulfilling than anything that I've ever done it before. Um, so that's where we find myself now. I find myself in the place where we are pretty much. It feels like we're starting from scratch. We have an established base of business, but we're going through a rebrand, a reconfiguration of how we do business, how we operate, how we do everything. And that is where I find myself now.
Okay, great. So definitely everybody has a journey. Not surprisingly, we have a little bit of a similar journey. Having studied engineering myself,
Yeah.
having had businesses, multiple businesses before going off on my own full time, and learning a lot. Definitely seeing your family, having a business, um, is a great experience in terms of learning.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's difficult for businesses to go to a second generation. Most businesses don't do that successfully, and very few go to a third generation. So, but it's good to see that you're really picking up the mantle and excited about doing it. So excellent. So, you made the transition from full time to part time. From part time to full time, which is a big decision. You talked a little bit about sort of talking to people, preparing. You probably had some expectations about what it would be like transitioning from full time or from part-time to full time.
Yeah.
How was the actual experience different from the expected experience?
Yeah, I mean that's huge. My my expectation was to go full time into the business, and everything just kind of falls into place, and we start expanding and growing on day one, right? Uh, but that wasn't the reality. The reality is there's still a lot of work to be done, and the thing is, the reality is the more you work in the business, is the more work you realize there is to be done. And I'm learning that and even talking with you, Andrew, a lot of times is even through and like my parents did a fantastic job. And even when I started part time, I thought I did a great job, but you realize you skip some steps along the way. We didn't properly plan our marketing strategy. We didn't properly plan our business strategy. We didn't properly plan a lot of these things. So for me, going into full time, I have to go back and now redo those things that learn those steps and redo those steps that we skipped just trying to get business and just trying to add revenue. But there's a whole, you have to make sure the foundation is set, the foundation is ready, the service is ready, the staff is ready for the next level. We found ourselves in situations even where we took on work that perhaps we weren't prepared for strategically and ready to do. Now, I think we executed as best as we could, and we execute with excellence, but we could have done a lot. We could have been a lot more efficient and more profitable if we have set a little bit more layers into our foundation.
Okay, no, definitely. It's important to build your foundation, and that's one of the things we spend a little time doing. And all those things you're talking about, much of it's about really planning, doing the things that are important but not urgent. So
Right.
many times you end up doing things that are either important and urgent, or not important and urgent. So it's important to be able to take that step back, and also having a fresh perspective of you coming into the business after your parents had been involved in the business, and coming in, taking a look at it a new way, and also coming in with new skills and new energy. So now, the relationships with kids and parents is always interesting, but it's even more interesting when you're trying to transition a business. from one generation to the next. What was that like? What were some of the challenges? What was good about it? Talk a little bit about how that worked and what you learned from the process.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm super blessed and privileged to have some of the most amazing parents, right? My parents um, would give us as their children anything that we can ask for, that they work for. And my wife and I strive to do the same thing with our kids, right? Like, we don't, what we built is for our kids, and the same thing my parents always had the philosophy, what they built is for us, is for their generation, is for their legacy. So I'm super grateful for that. So they've been an easy resource. And my father, when it comes to cleaning, when it comes to anything technical, when it to this business, I mean, he's a expert, and he is a person that I rely on a daily basis to understand the ins and outs, not just of business, but of the operation that we're building, and as well as business. He reminds me all the time, "Hey, you need to do this, you need to do that." So they've been an incredible resource. I think one of the areas of struggle that we had at the beginning is that he was a one man show, and he ran his business. He was operations. He was HR. Um, he was marketing. He was sales. He did everything. So me coming into the business, I'm like, there's no way I can do all of this, and I don't want to do all of this. So the first thing was, hey, we need to hire, and we need to hire people to do stuff, to run the operations. We need to hire people uh, to do some admin work. We need to hire bookkeeping. We need to hire all these things because I'm not doing it. It's right. So that was the first part of contention, was they didn't want to spend money uh, to grow the business. I think over the 16 years that he ran this business independently, he probably spent a total of $100 on marketing, on getting the business out there. I think one year they did a they bought a booth at a town fair. They might have did that twice, and that's probably the only thing that they've ever done for marketing and marketing strategies. So I'm coming in, I'm like, hey, I'm going to spend $10,000 on this. I'm going to spend $5,000 on this, and they're like, no, 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 we can't spend any of the money. I'm like, no, we need to do this because we need to, brand ourselves and market the business. So that was a big area of contention. To now, I think he saw the ROI, the return on some of the initial things that we've done, and saw that, yeah, he's actually adding business, doing some of the strategies that we talked about. So that helped bridge that gap. So now we don't really have that issue. I mean, obviously they're not really a part of the business anymore. They're just like glorified consultants at this point. But so that was a big hurdle that we got over, which is understanding, hey, we need to invest into the business, um, not just in our staff, but also as well as even employee retention, and setting up a bonus structure, setting up things to keep the employees motivated to come to work and not leave and to stay with you, is something that we had to spend money on. And these things was a change of strategy from where he came from, because he wasn't, most of the part, he would save a lot of the money. They don't spend, but they weren't saving. They would just save everything. And for me, I'm coming in, I'm like, all right, we need to spend. And, and their advice with how to spend and how to do that stuff has been extremely valuable. But that was definitely the biggest contention, I think.
Okay, and then that's not surprising because definitely different generations look at money differently.
Mhm.
But as well as a lot of people who have been in business have been able to be successful without spending a lot of money on marketing.
Yeah.
But the world is changing. The world has changed many ways. And, there's so much more competition from so many more places in so many more ways.
Yeah.
And, it's important to be visible. So, it's great that you were able to get, your parents on board with that. I know a lot of people who have tried unsuccessfully or with limited success. So, really being able to say something about you and says something about your parents, which is great. We looked at the Masterpreneur Playbook framework, going from step 1 to step 5, working on the concept, working in your business, working on your business. And, really, you can only go as far as you're prepared to take it. And given that your father was still working in the business couldn't go any further than he was prepared to take it. And you've actually helped take it to the next level. And going from just working on the business to working in the business to really working on it, to optimize it, to, grow your structure beneath you, and, to continue to grow revenue, because, if you're not growing, you're dying, especially in this day and age. So, it's great that you're doing that. So now you talked about needing to put things in place to be able to do that. What are some of the other things that you've put in place to be able to, work on your business and then prepare yourself to scale your business?
Yeah. So one of the first things that I knew we needed was some supervisors, or a manager in our case, to manage the day-to-day of the operations of the business. So that was the first thing that I did. I'm like, hey, we have to find somebody to manage the operations, because I need to focus on adding revenue more than the day-to-day operations of the business. So that was the first thing. And, thankfully we found a great operations manager, and that's been going great. We have a great relationship, and he's been able to even add to our business, right? Add revenue, add staffing, add expertise, add more to our business than we even anticipated.
Okay, excellent. And, definitely bringing in supervisors, bringing in managers. You have to evolve yourself, as a leader, because a lot of business owners, once they've been in a specific role, it's hard for them to evolve to the next role, especially, one, when you're going from supervisor to manager, and you can't really do that successfully if you don't move up or bring in a supervisor, so that you can have more time to focus on optimizing the business. But even if you do that, you can't do the supervisor job, because then the supervisor's not doing the supervisor job. And same if you bring a manager, you have to, learn how to coach the manager, because if you have a good manager, the thing they hate the most is being micromanaged. So, how were you able to do that successfully?
So I think it comes down to I think one of the reasons why my desire to go into not only this field but go independently as a business owner, I feel like I have a good natural instinct into talking with people and getting people to understand my perspective. Just being empathetic, understanding, being able to see their perspective and empower them to do their job, right? So my job, understanding that my job is to empower them, to give them the tools that they need to excel in their role. So understanding that, I don't want to be the limitation for them at all to exceed in their careers and exceed into what they want to do. And that not only our managers, but as well as our staff, right? So even looking at them and to say, okay, what is it that you want to get out of this? Yes, I know you want more money. We all want more money. But is there some leadership components that you want to do? Okay, can you empower them to run projects, empower them to even giving them opportunities to add business through referral programs or through communicating with the facilities that they clean, giving them opportunities to be what they want to be. So that I think that's something that I learned, and being able to empower my staff and my manager to be what they want to be.
Excellent.
And what's in them.
Okay, cool. So, you worked in corporate before you came into your business. What are the key things that you learned there that are helping you be more successful in business now?
Yeah, I think just overall organizational excellence, right? I was fortunate to work at some great companies, and just organizational excellence where we operate, where we trying to provide the best service to our communities, to the people, to our customers. So taking from that, just from overall, from HR to sales to marketing to every department of our business, my desire is that we run on a smooth, efficient, excellent platform or a organizational structure where every arm of the business works together, where this communication gaps are lessened and communication gaps are lessened, and we are strengthening each part of the business. So that's probably the biggest thing that I took from there. And as well as just creating great products and great, in our case, great service, a service that people want to be a part of, service that people want, people desire. That's probably the biggest thing that I took from my corporate world.
Okay. No, I mean, definitely. Same here. I think, I always talk to business owners and say that you have to see it before you do it. But if you've never seen it, you can't do it. And, like with your parents, they've only seen certain things.
Yeah.
So it was harder to envision sort of what you're doing now for the business. And I think that, that's why it's so important to continually learn, either through experience, or learn from others, or get a guide. That's what I do for a lot of people, help them develop their business. And, I was meeting with someone today that I work with, and I remember when we started, he started his business at 18. So, did a great job, has a multi-million-dollar business. But, that being said, he, needed to develop and learn things that he just didn't learn in the process. And, some of the key things are, really being able to work on his business, manage his business, utilize business information to make better decisions. So definitely, everybody's journey is different, but you do have a leg up because of that. So excellent. So one thing that we worked on, and I think if you're going to work on your business successfully and optimize your business, you can't really do that without numbers. Numbers are critical because those are the real facts, and they actually tell you what's going on with your business. So we did some work on your bookkeeping, and I know you've been tracking progress in other areas.
Yep.
How has that information been helpful to what you're doing now and your planning processes?
Yeah. First off, since I started this business, even before we started this business, we've tried several different bookkeepers. Most of them didn't work out for one reason or the other. Uh, Working with you on the bookkeeping has been, life change or business changing for us, right? Being able to see the numbers from the way you package it together has been illuminating. So now, it's easy. This is one of the things that you learn from the business and coming from the engineering side. Um, you don't track. I never was really on the finance side, and so finance is like, all right, that passes to the finance guys. We don't worry about that. We just spend the money. But um, looking at it from this perspective, just being able to track what we're spending, what we're bringing in, what we're saving, uh, even down to um, per job or to per job that we're doing has been fantastic, right? So being able, and even we had a conversation with my operations manager and how on a project that we do now. Okay, how do we increase profitability here? We see what we're bringing in on a monthly basis. This is what the labor cost is. Uh, is there a way we can? We might we're in the middle of the contract, so we're not able to increase the budget on this project, but perhaps we can increase profit by reducing the labor through technology, right? So either can we get something to speed up the mop? Can we do something else to speed up the mopping process? Can we do something to speed up the trash disposal process? So even a 20 minutes, 30 minutes here or there can dramatically improve improve the profitability on a project if you're there 5 days a week, right? Now you're saving an hour a week, and now you're saving 5 hours a month, which ends up being, what in our case, some number, but that increases the profitability of the project and of the business. So being able to see that on a regular basis helps you understand where you are, where you need to go, what money you have in your budget to allocate to adding to different strategies. Whether it's okay, we can budget this amount of money towards a marketing campaign this month. Doing that strategically as opposed to blindly, hey, yeah, let's just pay for it and do it. But knowing that you have the money, you have the available capital to do the things that you want to do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely. And one thing that a lot of business owners don't realize until it happens is, not only do you learn and you have information, but it's a great tool for leading and managing your team and making them accountable for results, and also them clearly knowing what the goal is. A lot of business owners don't really share information with the employees and don't really tell them much. So most employees want to do a good job, but it's never defined for them. So, how has working with them and really utilizing that information, empowered him and impacted his morale and productivity?
Yeah. So with our operations manager, so yeah, we're pretty much an open book. I probably could do a better job of sharing. I'm probably one of those business owners that don't share everything. I mean, maybe I shouldn't share everything, but but I share what I deem to be pertinent. But I maybe, as you said, that is probably a good idea to even share even more. But we do share budget expectations for each profit, right? And we even, I mean, down to even strategizing in the bidding process, in the onboarding process. We know how much it costs, how much we're going to bring in, um, what it costs to operate the project, as well as the labor costs, and that empowers him, dramatically, right? And even down, I mean, he asked me a question like, "How much? Okay, tell me how many hours can they spend there?" Right? So that gives him, clear guidance of, hey, if they're there 4.5 hours, then hey, we need to figure out, we need to have a conversation with them, like, hey, this, but if we don't have, this is allocated to clean in 4 hours, or clean in 5 hours, clean in 8 hours, whatever that case may be. And so he can track that on his end to see, okay, on a regular basis, to see where we are, where our budget is. We're budget to be here 30 hours a week. This particular staff member is staying here 40 hours a week. Now let's dig in a little bit more. Why is that? Why is he or she over budget on this project? Is that because of something that we're doing wrong? Are they, and we've found cases where people are doing things that are wrong, right? So we found cases where people would clock in, leave their phone in the facility, go out and come back and pick up their phone and say, "Oh yeah, I was there for 4 hours." But then, you know, if you look at the budget on a regular basis, if he's looking at the budget as opposed to their clocking in on a regular basis, we can identify here there's some anomalies here. There's something that's a little bit wrong with these couple of days, or over a time frame. We could see that there's something wrong, and we can address those issues.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to take a sec to talk a little bit about, some of the things that we're doing here at Small Business Pro University that can be helpful for people. Hopefully you're on our mailing list. If you're not, shoot me a message and we'll add you. One thing we do that's really helpful for people is we send out the POW. The POW is our plan of the week. And, as you know, if you don't, failing to plan is planning to fail. So, each week we lay out a plan with knowledge and information, updates on activities and opportunities that could be helpful for entrepreneurs and business owners. So definitely, if you're not getting the POW, you probably want to get it. Also, tomorrow afternoon, we have a masterclass on business planning made easy. Business planning is so important, and most business owners don't have a business plan because it seems overwhelming, and they aren't able to make time or the effort because they feel like it's going to be too much, but it doesn't have to be. So that's what tomorrow's masterclass is all about. So you're welcome to sign up for that. It's going to be really powerful. I'm going to focus on, strategies for doing that, as well as giving you some tools and other information. So you're welcome to join us. We're making it 50% off. So if you join based on participating in tonight's session, you'll be able to get 50% off. So the link is in the chat. So you're welcome to join us. As well, we have our next Power Breakfast event coming up on March 21st. So put that on your calendar. Always great event. You can take advantage of early bird pricing, and that's going to be at the Galloping Hill Golf Club in Florham Park. And so those are some of the things we have coming up. And, we're going to shift to planning now, because we've talked about really optimizing your business, preparing your business to scale. The next thing is, what do we need to do to scale? What is our plan? How are we going to scale? And you can't really just go out there and say, I'm going to scale and sell more. You have to have a plan and a strategy around how to do that. And that's really, the stage that Clevonne's at in terms of growing his business. And that's something that you've been working on. And, it's about, developing your marketing and growth strategy. So can you talk a little bit about sort of, your plans for growth and sort of how you develop them? What were some of the key information that helped you develop them and make the decision on how you're going to grow?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, uh, I think one of the main things is understanding who our customer base is and the people that are looking for services like ours and cleaning businesses like ours. We found ourselves servicing. I think at this point, our business is probably 65% nonprofit, meaning we serve with whether it's schools, um, shelters, schools, churches, things of that nature. Understanding that that's our client base, and that is who uh, for for whatever reason they are attracted to a business like ours. And so identifying that allows us to put strategies into place to target those businesses and target those clientele. So instead of us casting a big net, necessarily say, hey, yeah, we clean everything, but perhaps we throw a campaign out there that's just targeting specifically the nonprofit space. And even that, we tend to support our nonprofit bases with sponsorships of different things and support in things that they need. So it's also us giving back to our communities. One of our core values is to help others and to be a positive force in our community. So we take that to heart, that we are not only just a business to say, hey, we want to collect money, but we want to be a positive force. So understanding that our client base aligns with our goals and our objectives and our core values helps us identify a key point in our marketing strategy. So from there, we understand, and this is at this point, especially post pandemic, this is a cleaning and building maintenance is an incredibly competitive and competitive market at this point. But so it's you have to figure out how to spend resources on clientele that makes sense for your business versus people that are just there to save money, right? Like we believe we provide excellent service. We alleviate headaches from business owners and property managers. I don't want to make this a marketing thing, but our goal and objective is to improve spaces and improve quality of work. So identifying people that are not just looking to get a job done and to clean a space, but actually looking for the entire package is huge for us. So from there, we're in the midst of crafting uh, even different campaigns through social media, through email and outreach, outreach in that manner, to attract the businesses that are looking for us.
Excellent, excellent. And it's important for people to understand, one, you can't make good information without, or you can't make good decisions without good information. And to scale and to developing your marketing strategy, it's so much more important to focus and really focus on a niche, and then the niche that fits your business the best. Every business is different. You always want to go to your strengths, and really doing doing the marketing analysis around like redoing your marketing analysis and your market analysis, really figuring out the right niche, really focusing on what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, becomes so important if you're going to scale. So you've been you've set those things up. Now that you sort of have your plan, it's time to implement it for 2025. Um,
Mhm.
what's your implementation strategy, and how are you going to go about achieving your plan?
Yeah, I think it for us it starts with strategic partnerships, um, setting up the partnerships that we collectively are beneficial to each other's business. So that's something that I'm focused on this year, is setting up strategic partnerships. Like, we've been working with uh, different organizations. For example, one strategic partnership that we're working on is, hey, it is with a spa, right? So where we can mutually benefit. We can send them business from our clientele, and they can send us business from their clientele. So that's been the most beneficial, is strategic partnership as well as networking. A lot of times, people not, you know, in this space, there are cleaners everywhere, but who wants to work with us is who we're focused on, right? Who wants to work with brilliant image cleaning is who I'm focused on. And that comes through networking, that comes through partnerships, that comes through um, just us, them knowing our story, what we are, what we stand for, understanding our core values. Um, so that is, the primary uh, way that we're looking to implement. And yes, we are doing all the other things, right? We are, at this point, we pretty much have every marketing and sales strategy going for us at this point. We have yeah, we're working with several agencies um, on outreach. We're working with a lot of things, but the meat, what I've, what has been most beneficial to us, and will continue to be most beneficial to us, are the relationships that we're building. Understanding our story, understanding that, hey, we're not just here for revenue. Yes, of course, we're in a business to make money and to make profit, but we're in a business to help our community, our business community, as well as our community here in New Jersey.
Okay. No, definitely. One of the things that you're talking about is really focusing on, competing on value as opposed to price. And especially small businesses, competing on price is a sure way to not be profitable or not be very profitable. Definitely sometimes starting out to get, opportunities, you may have to work, do on price or do stuff on discount or free, but
Yes.
that's not a good business model long term. And if you're going to grow, you have to have the profitability and revenues to grow. So so that's key. um one of the things is, your dad was working in the business all the time, so he couldn't do that stuff.
Yep.
So by setting up the structure and being able to delegate, you know, that gives you the flexibility to develop and implement your plan. And partnerships are key. A lot of businesses also work with centers of influence, where definitely people or organizations that can influence others, that can be beneficial as well. So um, those are critical pieces as well. So now, a big piece of scaling, there's really two key things that, when you're scaling, you have to manage. And, you're going to be facing those things, is cash flow, because as you grow, a lot of times cash goes out faster than it comes in, and also capacity, being able to handle the growth. So, what are your plans and strategies around those? And, how are you thinking about those?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question, because we're actually working we're actually working on a project right now that would require a huge upfront cost from us. Basically, we would have to fund the entire project for 90 days, which is fine. So thankfully, we're in a business where the cash flow is usually is pretty good, right? We have pretty good cash flow per project, where the expense is budgeted before you even take on a project. We know pretty much down to the dollar, and most of the time we overestimate, but we know down to the dollar how much these projects is gonna cost us in terms of what we're going to output, and obviously our biggest cost is labor. So we're fortunate to be in a business where cash flow is usually not an issue. In this case, now we need to start looking at. I am looking at some line of credits to get onto the business, so where we can hold us over until the project starts to pay. So with line of credits, I whether that's through my credit union or credit card, that we fund the initial part of the project until we're able to recoup a lot of those funds. And so, but it really comes down to just planning, knowing how much it's going to cost, how much cash do I need to get us through the next 6 months, even the rest of the year, honestly, and planning what we going to have to spend and what we're going to bring in. So yeah, it's just being based on planning that out.
Okay, excellent. So, I think, your journey, outlines and highlights, the Masterpreneur playbook and going through most of the steps. And, what, really it's important to understand is, when you're each step that you go up, you're focusing on your business further and further into the future. So, when you're an employee, you're sort of looking at, what do we need to get done today? The supervisor should be looking at, what has to happen this week and making sure that's done. The manager should be looking at continually improving on a month-by-month basis. Once you get the executive level, it's really about planning and strategizing, and you're looking at a quarterly basis. And when you're scaling, you're really looking at an annual basis. So when you have everybody in place focusing on those things, then your business can move forward and grow significantly. So, yeah, I'm definitely, it's great information that you're sharing. Could be valuable for a lot of business owners. I know it will. But before we close out tonight, because, hour goes really fast, want to make sure that, you share like the 3 key things that people should take away from what we talked about today, because most people can only remember 3 things. So, and then also that can be actionable. What things that they can start working on or thinking about or incorporating, even starting tomorrow. So, I'll give you a minute to think about it. And, during that minute, I'll play a video about the Small Business Pro University. So, we do a lot of great things for entrepreneurs and business owners, and this will let you know a little bit more about what Small Business Pro University is all about and how it can be helpful. Many small businesses experience low or no revenue growth, and the owners are not making enough money. I founded Small Business Pro University to help you break that cycle by empowering you with greater knowledge and enhanced skills to lead your organization more effectively. Over the past 15 years, I've collaborated with organizations like the Small Business Development Center, Rising Tide Capital, Empower the Village, NJMEP, Rutgers University, and SCORE to work one-on-one with over 1,000 business owners and teach tens of thousands of people about business. My experience includes serving as a naval officer, managing businesses, graduating from MIT, earning an MBA from NYU, and achieving the CFA designation, which has prepared me to accomplish my mission of helping 1,000,008 business owners to sell more, maximize profit, and finance growth by 2028. My vision is to create the ultimate business ecosystem for entrepreneurs. Small Business Pro University empowers entrepreneurs like you to run their businesses more professionally and create sustainable enterprises. We employ my proven proprietary Masterpreneur Playbook framework to guide your journey along the Masterpreneur path and facilitate your Masterpreneur evolution to work on your business and scale faster and easier. Small Business Pro University provides access to valuable resources, partnerships, and relationships that will help you to sell more, maximize profit, and finance growth. Our Masterpreneur initiatives include the Small Business Pro Network, 100+ expert-led multimedia courses, intensive training workshops, Spanish language training, Leadership Live at 8:05 live stream and podcast, in-person Power Breakfast events, and advisory coaching, consulting, and training services. Okay, welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. I'm here with Clevonne St. Hillaire, and we're talking small business. We're focusing tonight on scaling your business in 2025, and that's really what Clevonne is focused on doing. And before we close out, what are 3 things that we focused on tonight that everyone should really take away and incorporate into what they're doing?
So now I'm on the hot seat. I think the first thing when you asked me that question, the first thing that came to my mind was to bet on yourself and not be afraid to take risks, and to know that you have within you the ability to accomplish your dreams and accomplish your goals. It might be unconventional, it might not be what everybody else is doing, but you have the ability and the within you to do whatever you have is in your heart to do. So that's my first thing, and taking risks and being open to taking risks. You're not going to get anywhere without taking risks. The second thing is to track everything from everything that you're doing as a business. Track the input and track the output. If I'm every down to the littlest things, the marketing strategies, the conversations that you're having, what are the outputs from these network events that you're going to? Because everything costs money, whether it's time, whether it's dollars, whatever it is, it costs something. So track it. If it makes sense to keep doing it, keep doing it. If it doesn't make sense to do it, then cut it out and focus on something else that's actually adding value to your business and to your life. And the third thing, honestly, is to surround yourself with people that are doing the things that you want to do, to even getting mentors. Like Andrew has been extremely beneficial to me and into my business. And, I'm grateful to meeting people, for somebody like Andrew. There's other people within the industry that I communicate with on a daily basis, that I'm seeing the potential of the business, as well as they're giving me actionable items to work on and to add to what I'm doing, whether it's something that I need to add to, work on for myself as far as my leadership and things like that, or something I need to add to my business. So definitely get mentors and surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do.
Excellent. So, you survived the hot seat. Excellent responses. I mean, definitely betting on yourself. Having the confidence to know that you can do this, because a lot of people, may not share that with you. So, you have to motivate yourself and trust yourself. You talked about tracking or measuring what you're doing and your progress. And, at the end of the day, what gets measured gets done. So, you get so much more when you measure your progress. And then third, your team support. In this day and age, you have to have a lifetime of learning. And the only way you're going to be able to evolve is to continue to learn. And many times, like I said, if you can't see it, how are you going to do it? And, that's why you may need coach, mentor, consultant that has seen it and already knows what you need, so they can help you paint the picture and, position and put into place what you need. So, this was a great show. Thanks, Clevonne, for coming and hanging out tonight and sharing some of your experience and expertise.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Excellent. And I've got your LinkedIn profile in there. I've got your website. So anyone on here who needs cleaning or knows someone that needs cleaning, you got a great resource here. And also, if you just want to reach out to them, let them know what you're doing, say hello, let them know you appreciated what he shared. Definitely connect with them on LinkedIn, and we'll take it from here. So, hopefully you got a lot out of the show. Clevonne, thanks again. And just hang out for a few minutes as I close everything out. So, as always, glad that we had a great show. We had a great guest. Thanks again for joining in, and appreciate everybody's comments and questions during the show. Next week, our show is going to be focused on financial management triage for entrepreneurs. One of the big areas I run into is major issues with financial management. And if you're ever going to work on your business successfully, like Clevonne says, you need to have your numbers and information. So, figuring out your finances, no matter how bad it is, I've most likely seen worse. I was just getting ready to start on a project where, it's a multi-million-dollar business, but they haven't done any bookkeeping in 3 years. So it's important to pull those things together. And many business owners may not be comfortable with finance, understand finance, knowing finance, and it's hard to get good people who understand it and can help you in the right way. So, definitely, if you're running into that, we're going to talk about, if your finances and you have challenges and you need stuff, how do you resolve it? So, looking forward to my guest next week, Janine Perkins, and, we'll talk about, how do you resolve and overcome and avoid, financial management challenges and issues. So hopefully you can join us then. And until then, at the end of the day, the more that you know, the faster and more successfully your business is going to grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.